Hi everybody, Dan Illman here taking a look at the feature race at Monmouth Park on Saturday. It's the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks. Let's take a look at the field for race number 11. 3-year-old fillies going 1 mile and a 16th, and perhaps we'll find an under-the-radar candidate for this year's Kentucky Oaks. It is a wide-open edition of the Monmouth Oaks. Several horses coming out of the Delaware Oaks. Project Whiskey won that race. She's the number 8 in the Monmouth Oaks. You've got Lucrezia, the number 6, dropping out of the Grade 1 Acorn, and a couple of up-and-comers that might be interesting plays at decent prices. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. As you can see, Timeform US has stamped this race with a red bar, which in Timeform US parlance indicates they believe the pace will be fast. And the 4 Hopeful Growth adding blinkers certainly could show a little bit of speed. I think the 5 Piece of My Heart, a very likely pace setter. The 6 Lucrezia likes to be involved early. And that Delaware Oaks winner, Project Whiskey, probably won't be too far behind. Let's talk about a couple of the horses coming out of the Delaware Oaks, beginning with the number 1, Dream Marie. Dream Marie made a prolonged 4-wide bid, exiting the backstretch, got right outside of the winner, and just couldn't go by. She lost ground in that race. She's always been an honest horse that's hinted at a major victory like this, and her last race represented a career-best Beyer speed figure of 84. Now, she ran into some good company down in South Florida, the likes of Swiss Skydiver and Tonalist Shape. She certainly fits this race. She draws a comfortable inside post position, and if this pace is hot as Timeform US projects, Dream Marie should be running late. I want to use her in any kind of multiple race wager. 9-2 on the morning line. Jersey Joe Bravo takes the mount. Princess Katie, the number 2, finished 3rd in the Delaware Oaks, and I thought she ran okay that day, finishing up nicely to get a piece. She'll now make her second start of the form cycle for Laurel Park's leading trainer, Claudio Gonzalez, and she was a big winner 2 starts back, going a 1-turn mile. Now, even though she was running on at the end of the Delaware Oaks, and even though she's by a fairly stout influence and dialed in, I'm a bit concerned about Princess Katie the longer they go, 1 mile and a 16th and even beyond down the road. And I'm also worried that she might have limited upside. This will be start number 15 for Princess Katie, who is at 6-1 on the morning line. Let's watch Market Rumors maiden win for Ian Wilkes. She's one of the up-and-comers I was talking about in the Open. She set off a good solid pace in this 2-turn mile at Keeneland on July the 12th. But as you can see, she really overhauls the field, and she goes on to a nice score with a 77 Beyer speed figure. She has yet to take a backwards step on the Beyer scale, and although she is stepping up in class for the first time, I think this is the right field to take a shot. Ian Wilkes, a consummate horseman, knows where to place his runners. Market Rumor seems to be coming into form. I still think there's a forward move for her, and she might get the right pace setup. A little bit of value here on the morning line at 12-1. Hopeful Growth is the number 4. We saw her prominently placed on that Timeform US pace projector. She is getting blinkers for the first time. She ran in the Delaware Oaks. She really didn't fire that day. She was bet down to 2-1. Her prior start at Tampa Bay was very good coming from off the pace. I'm concerned about her ability to get the distance as well. And again, there is some pedigree on the bottom, but Hopeful Growth was just a little bit flat last time out. Now that the connections are going right back to blinkers, they've used blinkers before, they've taken them off. Hopeful Growth, 6-1, should show a little bit of speed, but if the pace is fast at this mile and a 16th, she might be up against it. Piece of My Heart won the Gardenia 2 starts back at Oaklawn in gate-to-wire fashion. She ran really well that day to beat Comical, who's also in this field, and she showed the way in the Delaware Oaks last time out, but when Project Whiskey and Dream Marie came calling for her on the far turn, Piece of My Heart just could not keep up. She stayed on okay to finish 4th, and maybe she needed that race. It was her first start off of a 2-month layoff. Her prior races at Oaklawn were both good going 2 turns, but there's also the possibility of another fast pace battle looming for Piece of My Heart. 7-2 on the morning line seems a little bit light. If she goes off a little bit higher than that, I'd want to consider her. Lucrezia is very dangerous because she's getting significant class relief for trainer Arnaud de la Cour. Now, I love the way she won her seasonal debut, the Suncoast Stakes at Tampa Bay. It was her first start around 2 turns. She pressed the pace inside. They took her off the rail, got her to the outside. She soon took over the lead under a very confident ride, and she was off to the races. After that, she then was a game second to Swiss Skydiver, who arguably is the best 3-year-old filly in the country, and then she came back in the Acorn last time out, and not too many 3-year-old fillies were beating Gamine game that day in the Acorn. She just ran away and hid. Lucrezia tried to push that moderate pace, couldn't go with Gamine, who's one of the best 3-year-old fillies in the country, and tired. Now, is that race an indication that maybe she's cycling a little bit off form? I don't think so. I think she's getting the class relief that she needs. She has the tactical speed where she can be close, but I don't think she needs the lead. And she's a very logical contender, and some might argue that 4-1 on the morning line is a more than fair price. Comical is the number 7. She chased Piece of My Heart in vain in the Gardenia. Last time out in the Delaware Oaks, she was down inside. Maybe they could have ridden her a little bit more aggressively and gotten up close to the front. Perhaps that's her preferred running style. She's now on an 8-race losing streak after winning her first 2 starts, including the Grade 3 Schuylerville. She has been solid throughout her career, but she really needs to take that big step up from a Beyer standpoint. She has that one race, the Gardenia, where she earned an 85 Beyer that would put her in the mix. The others she would need to have to improve on. Here's Project Whiskey winning the Delaware Oaks, and she didn't look like a 38-1 shot. She's 3 wide and in between horses. To her outside is Dream Marie. The speed horse down towards the rail is Piece of My Heart. And Project Whiskey just goes on with it. She was forced to make an early move. Dream Marie forced the hand of her jockey, Pennington, as they headed into the turn. And Project Whiskey then just kept on going, refused to let Dream Marie by, refused to really let anyone into the race. This was her first 2-turn start. I think there was some concern about her ability to get the distance. Not so anymore. Her previous start, her seasonal debut off of a 5.5-month layoff, she had the excuse of the layoff, and then she was facing one of the best 3-year-old filly sprinters in the country in Frank's Rocket, so you might want to take that race with a grain of salt. She was a stakes winner going 7 last year, so maybe Project Whiskey was just a little bit underestimated at 38-1, and she might be underestimated again. Again, she beat 5 of these common foes. She's 6-1 on the morning line, and that's a fair price. Eve of War's career debut on dirt for Todd Pletcher was very, very impressive back at Gulfstream. She earned an 88 Beyer speed figure. Now, she was able to take advantage of an uncontested lead over a speed-favoring track. She ran back in her first start against winners. She was odds on. She had trouble in a decent field. The 3rd horse coming back to win a 1X with an 83 Beyer. Since then, Pletcher has run her on the turf with varying degrees of success. Back to the dirt here, Eve of War draws a tough outside post position. It'll be interesting to see what we get because she likes to be forwardly placed, at least in her recent turf races, and I just don't think she's going to be able to get the lead in here. But she did show some ability in that debut. Let's take a look at my top selections for the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks. Well, I missed the wedding. Maybe I'll be around for the funeral. Project Whiskey, 6-1 on the morning line. Again, if you can take away the Frank's Rocket race, which I can, off the layoff, going 6, and you can take away the Maryland Juvenile Filly Championship, she didn't really run very well after a bad start, and I can give her an excuse for that race preceding the 5.5-month layoff. Maybe Project Whiskey just fits as sort of this Grade 2, Grade 3, 3-year-old filly. Her tactical speed should have her in the second flight, and I'll give her a chance to repeat and double up after winning the Delaware Oaks. I'll have her take the Monmouth Oaks as well. And I'll use her with Dream Marie, the horse she beat in the Delaware Oaks last time out. Approximate post time for the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks, 5:31 Eastern. Good luck.